Hi guys, good day here. My name is Saka, your regular instructor. So, like I said in the last training video, today we'll be talking about Excel function. And to start with an Excel functions, we'll be talking about the equality sign. There is no Excel function that doesn't start with an equality sign. So today I'll be discussing what we can achieve with equality sign. And I've actually taken now the time to categorize to what we can do with an equality sign in Excel. So equality sign in Excel is used to start an Excel function. You start an Excel function using the equality sign. All right, so how do we go about that? Let us take this right. Okay, for all the Excel functions that we have, you always start them with the equality sign. So you start by typing in a cell, in a cell like this, you type equal sign. So we have different kind of Excel functions that we can use. We have the sum, and there are different variants of sum. We have the sum if, we have the sum ifs, we have the sum product. We're not talking about the Excel function today. We just want to drive the point that to start an Excel function, you would eventually start with an equality sign. So we have the average, we have the or, we have the if. So the rule of thumb is that whenever you want to start an Excel function, you must always start with equal sign. Yeah, even myself, most times, uh, just in the spirit of getting the work done, I just do something very funny. I want to start, I forget the equality sign. I just want to go ahead with the function, and it just looks like I'm typing a word in itself. So you just end up like this. But if you start with an equality sign, see that you basically type in an Excel function. Okay, so irrespective of what function that you want to use in an Excel, there is no shortcut about it. You definitely want to start with an equal sign. Another thing that we can use an equality sign for is we can use it to compare values. I've taken out that time to put in some fictitious value here. I have a column A, column B, column C, and we have a variance. You will be hearing some data jargons like table, example table. So when we say a table is basically being characterized by rows and columns. All right, columns being the field or the header, and the rows basically means the information contained. All right, so I have three columns here, or four columns with an additional one called variance. All right, so each of the columns has their own value, and we have about 9 rows. Okay, so one of the usage of equality sign is using it to compare two or more outputs. For example, we have two outputs, A and B. Let's say A basically means the quantity that a customer order, right, from a store, and B eventually turns out to be what the customer received, right? So we as an analyst, we can want to compare the quantity that the customer ordered and what was being received. All right. So to do that, don't forget again, you have to start with equality sign. So we want to compare the values of these different columns, right? The input being what was ordered and the output being what was supplied to the customer. All right. So the rule of thumb, don't forget to start with equal sign. So put in your equal sign here. And when I click on the cell, so clicking on the cell, you will be seeing A2 here. A is the column, and the 2 basically means the row position. Now you're seeing A2. So this is basically a cell, and it's picking the value in the cell A2. So when you're seeing A2, you're basically seeing an imaginary value of 1. Okay, so to do that comparison, say A2 equals to B2. B2 being what the customer eventually received. All right, so press in your enter. Now, because what you're doing is basically comparing the values from two cell or from two column. Now you're saying 1 equals to 1. It's more like a logical expression. When you say 1 equals to 1, the output is either going to be true or false. The output is definitely going to be true or false. So here, what you're saying, A2 equals B2, you're basically saying 1 equals to 1. And your guess is as right as the output that we have here. Okay, so also we could take it to the next row, picking the value here, A3 equals to B3, then press your enter button. All right, definitely this is going to turn out to be true because the customer definitely ordered for, two quantity of an X product and eventually got two quantity of that same X product. All right, so that takes us to the next row. And of course, we're picking this value here. And of course, we're picking this value here. Okay, so this is eventually true. And taking it to the next row, this equals to this. And of course, that is false because 4 is not equals to 5. The customer actually got more than what he ordered for. So this is more like you're kind of validating what the customer ordered versus what the customer supplied so that you can actually be able to account for your commodity, right? So let's say in a real life scenario, you'll be working with millions of records. In a real life scenario, you'll be working with a millions of records, and you do not have time to start doing this row by row. So what is the smartest way to achieve this without, taking it row by row? So if you had provided a solution for the first one, taking the value here equals to this, and you've gotten the outcome. So what you can do is by clicking on the first output, which is the results, to the right bottom, there is a dot here. There is a square dot here. Just over your mouse to that square dot until your mouse turns to plus. All right. So when your mouse turns to plus, what you have to do is just double click. And you'll be seeing that each of the rows have their own corresponding output, right? You do not need to start typing it one row after the other. So each of the rows has its own output. So you can see here that we've been able to use the equality sign to, one, start an Excel function, and two, compare two values. So this is us finding the variance between A and B. And of course, we can do that also between whether B or C or A and C. Let us say A and C. Let us look for the variance between A and C. And I'm sure you can do that within the shortest time. All right, let's do that together. Picking the value here equals to this, right? After we must have gotten the first output, just come to the bottom right here and double click. All right, so we have the output. So in a nutshell, you can use an equality sign to start an Excel function. And at the same time, you can use the same equality sign to what? To compare two values or two outputs, as the case may be. All right, what other things can we use the equality sign for? Equality sign is basically used to, you can use the equality sign to move value from one cell to another. We call this assignment. So we can use the equality sign to move value from one cell to another. Let's say we have another cell here that we have called D. Now I want to move everything that I have in this column A. I want to be able to move them to D. Everything I have here, I want to move them to D. How do I go about that? Okay, to do that, you can use equality sign. Start with equality sign. And don't forget that when we click on a cell here, you will be seeing the cell position. But basically what Excel is seeing at the back end is Excel is picking the value 1 and picking it into the cell position. All right, so I do this. I press my enter and the value 1 here moves to the new position. It's more like I'm replicating. I'm not definitely moving, but I'm replicating the value that I have in this cell and I'm putting it into a new cell position. All right, so Just like, we are going to double click on the bottom right dot here and double click on it. Oh, double click. Yeah, I just want to double click on it. Okay, it's not really double clicking. So what I can do, I can as well drag all the way down. Okay, I can drag all the way down, probably because there's a space between this and this. Let me see. Let me put arrow here. Just want to find out why it's not clicking. Okay, so yeah, probably because of the space between what we have here and this. So, all right, so using an Excel equality sign to start an Excel function, using an Excel equality sign to compare values, using an Excel equality sign for assigning or moving values from one column to another column. And also, you'll be seeing this usage in multiple Excel or complex Excel function. Say, for instance, in a logical expression, in a multiple logical expression where we have or and, right? You can use this. So let's say, for instance, if I have something like this, okay, so let me just use an if function here. So if function basically has a logical test, is expecting a logical test, the value if it is true and the value if it is false. So let me say if, and I use or here. If I say if this, so logical expression. So or basically allows more than one logical expression. I can say this, right? I can put a comma and I can say this equals to this. I can close this off and I can say value if it is true. Don't worry, I'm not going to take my time to break the expression I'm putting here down. I just want you to know that the equality sign could actually be used in multiple complex Excel function. Okay, so value if it is true, same, otherwise not same. All right, so let me just use 1 minute to explain this that I've taken out time to type. So I'm saying that wherever A and B are the same thing, or B and C are the same thing, I want to say they are same, otherwise they are not the same. So again, I'm going to say what I'm putting in this expression is wherever what I have in cell A is equals to what I have in cell B, I'll be having same. Or what I have in cell B is the same thing as what I have in cell C. I'll be having same. Otherwise, I would say not same value. So let me say same value. Don't worry, we're going to deal with this together, but just want to say that the equality sign is basically used for assignment. So you'll be seeing it often in an Excel function. I guess I've closed it. If, okay, same value. So, okay, because of the space here, right? So let me just drag and drag down. Okay, same, same, same. So let us focus on this not same, not same. So where we have not same, let me just put the header comparison. So, let us focus on where we have the not same, not same. I plan to do filtering. Let me go to my data and yeah, click on data, click on filter. Yeah, let us look at not same, not same. All right, so not same means, the value are not the same thing across ABC. The value are not the same thing across ABC. So easy peasy. So thank you very much. The next series will be taking a proper look at the Excel function. We're taking a proper look at the OR function, taking a proper look at the AND function, the differentiate of if function. Hoping to see you in the next video. Thank you and bye from here.